What's going on, everyone? My name is Daniel, and in Pokemon, stats are very, very important, especially the base stats of different Pokemon. Now, I have a couple of posts here made by different people that go over the stats, the base stats, the average base stats based on generation and based on type. Now, before we get into this, first off, I'll link these posts in the description, and of course, credit the people who made them. But what I want you to do in the comments section right now, before we dive into this and have a look at all these different statistics, is tell me which generation and which typing you think is the strongest and the weakest. Which, as a whole, average, base stats, which generation you think is the strongest, which generation you think is the weakest, and which typing you think is the strongest, and which typing you think is the weakest, right now in the comments below before we get into this video, before we have a look at anything right here. All right, you done it? Okay, let's get into this, because I like looking at statistics. I think it can be really fun and definitely like kind of educational. It can be a nice little exercise in learning about different things, especially based on Pokemon series, considering this entire series is based on statistics and roles and RNG, stuff like that. So, Pokemon base stats per generation. So right here we have a post made by Zebra21. Shout out to him. This is really nice for him to collate all this for us. And this is first off, he has a list of all of the legendary Pokemon that he has kind of taken from all the generations. Now, he doesn't include Silvally and Typenol as legendaries, but I'm pretty sure that they are legendaries. Not that really makes a huge difference to what we're about to look at here, but this is his list of legendaries right here. And you can see straight right off the bat, the huge change in the amount of legendary Pokemon or mythical and legendary Pokemon as the series goes on. It's kind of crazy. Like, we start off with just a few, and then it just goes on, and it has huge lists and huge lists. It's kind of crazy, actually, but let's have a look at this right now. So the first thing we have here is the average health point stats. Now, I'm just going to quickly skim over these because I don't believe that these individual statistics are that important. I think it's more of the whole thing that we need to look at. But for health points, it looks like Gen 4 is leading the way, though it looks like for health points, every single generation with the exception of Generation 1 is kind of being carried by legendaries. So on the left, we have including legendaries, and on the right, we have excluding legendaries. And you can see the key along the bottom right there. If I bring it up here, we see everything perfectly fine there. All the generations are color-coded, so it should be pretty easy for you guys to read. All right, so he says, a fun fact, if you exclude Blissey, Gen 2's average is 69. Okay, so what's Gen 2's average right now? Gen 2's average is 70. So it brings up just like a little bit, but wait, with Legends and wait. Gen 2's average is 69 with Legends. Oh, if you exclude Blissey. Okay, that makes sense. All right, in terms of attack, it looks like Gen 7 absolutely demolishes everything when you include legendaries, and it still kind of leads the way at the end if you don't include legendaries. Gen 7, high attack stats generation. Generation 2, very low attack stat generation. Look at that, right at the bottom there. Not even, everything else is above 70 apart from Generation 2. That's kind of interesting. Not a very attack heavy generation, I guess. In terms of defense, we have, it looks like, again, Gen 7 leading the way with a bunch of legendaries. So that's kind of interesting we got there. We have, without legendaries, they actually get surpassed a little bit by Generation 6. So that's cool. Also, Generation 4 kind of up there. But apart from that, everything seems pretty low in terms of defense or base defense. Generation 3, very, very low there. Special attack. Now, I imagined that Generation 1 would have been super high, because they have things like, they have the really good special attackers like Alakazam, Mewtwo, but then again, Generation 4, very, very high up there. It kind of carried by legendaries though, definitely carried by legendaries up here, but once you go to the other excluding legendaries column, you see that Generation 4 is 69, but it's still leading the way there. It's still above everything else if you don't include legendaries anyway. So again, Generation 2, very low base stat generation, it looks like. Generation 2 just not being able to pull its own weight here. Special defense, we have, it's nothing too concerning. Actually, special defense Generation 2 shoots up, trying to claim a top spot, but unfortunately does not quite make it. Generation 4 claiming the victory for that as well. Generation 5 still, yeah, Generation 5 is not doing too hot either, but Generation 3 also not doing too hot. We'll see how this plays out in the end game here. In terms of speed, oh my god, Generation 2 once again embarrassing themselves. Oh geez, that is not a good look, my dudes. That is not a good look. We have Very, very low speed. 58 if you don't include legendaries for speed in Generation 2. I guess it's all those baby Pokemon really dragging that generation down. Generation 3 also not doing too hot right there. We see Gen 1 actually pulling ahead if you don't include legendaries. Gen 1 pulling ahead by quite a bit if you don't include legendaries. If you see right there, has 69 with, 68 without, but we lose a lot of points here once you disclude legendaries. And of course, as we know, Generation 7, a really slow gen, but actually has more speed than two other generations here. Because Generation 7 is widely regarded as just like the really slow generation, but hey, I wonder if you guys can count how many times I see generation in this video. But this is the main thing that we came to see here, the total base stats. So, the strongest generation, as you can see right here, with legendaries and without legendaries, is Gen 4, which actually makes me feel good because I'm a Gen 4 fanboy. Generation 4 is actually my favorite generation in terms of the Pokemon, so I'm completely down with that. But let's have a look at this and see what we have here. So, Generation 4 leading the pack with legendaries and without, but once you take away legendaries, it evens out just a bit here. So, we have actually Gen 1 really not losing a whole lot there once you take away the legendaries, only losing 7 points. And not like Generation 2 that loses like 14 points, losing twice as much as Generation 1 after you take away legendaries. Gen 3, oofed guys. Oofed. Gen 3 dipping down under the 390 part. Oh, the weakest generation. If you have, if you take away the legendaries, if you include legendaries, the weakest generation, it looks to be barely Generation 2, just by a hair. Just by a hair right there, barely Generation 2. And what's actually funny here is Gen 3, if you take away all the legends, the average base stat is 386, which is the full Pokedex in Gen 3. I'm pretty sure it's 386. I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But there's a huge jump up here into Gen 4. And I think that's mainly caused by the addition of all of the evolutions. Like, you have a bunch of new evolutions, you know, your Gliscors, your Electivires, your Magmortars. So essentially just threw in a bunch of high base stat Pokemon as evolutions to all of the Pokemon that are in these generations. So that is probably what's carrying here. Also, Generation 4 has a bunch of legendaries. A bunch of legendaries in Generation 4. So I can see that it definitely shows right here. It definitely carries it above the mark here. Once you take away the legendaries, Generation 4 loses about 26 points. Once you take away legendaries, Generation 5 loses about 23 points. Gen 6 loses about 23 points too. And Gen 7 loses the most there with about 36, 37 points. Crazy drop right there for Gen 7. But of course, Gen 7 is carried by Ultra Beasts and the ludicrous amount of legendaries that we have in that game, or that generation. But then again, 4 has the most legendaries of all of them. But we have to account for the Ultra Beasts in 7. So that's why we see a huge drop off there when it comes to the points. But looks like Gen 4 is really just leading the way there. And like I said, it's mainly due to the evolutions that they added afterwards, the abundance of legendaries, something along those lines. But there we go. I'm really surprised to see Gen 3 so low. I'm really surprised. I thought Generation 2 would be lower because they just have a bunch of baby Pokemon on there, so I thought that'd really bring this total down. They have something like Sunkern. They have Sunkern in Gen 2. How do you lose to Sunkern, Gen 3? How do you lose to Sunkern? Jesus Christ. But the average base stats totals per generation, Gen 4 wins on both. It gets close on the left here because of the Ultra Beasts and Legendaries in Gen 7. But it is a clear victory for Generation 4 in terms of base stat totals. So if you said Gen 4, round of applause for you. You win. Based on that is the generations. Now we can look at the typings, which I believe is right here. And this is a huge post. This was actually made by, it looks like, Arrow the Maniac on Reddit. Really extensive, big post right here, which I love. Look at all this. Has every single typing, which is the best in each regard. And then right at the bottom here, right at the bottom here, it should be a cumulative. It looks like, I don't know if it is a cumulative, but it shows everything right here. So you're gonna have a quick rundown of this. I won't spend too much time on this because there is a lot of types to get through. So in terms of fire type, has low health, very high special attack, which is to be expected. Primal Groudon is pretty much leading the way in most things, with the exception of speed, in which a non-legendary, non-mega actually takes that Talonflame. Pretty good there. The base stat total is 467, sorry. Of course, to be expected in terms of water types, your boy Kyogre takes the top spot with the highest base stat total, highest special attack, highest special defense. Highest defense goes to Cloyster and Mega Slowbro. Cloyster actually popping up in there. Kind of unexpected, I'm not gonna lie. 429 as the average, not really excelling in any particular place there. We have the grass typing here, really, really weak typing. Grass typing is a very, very weak typing. Highest total is, wait, Mega Sceptile, when was this made? I think this is actually, yeah, this was actually made in 2016. I think this is before, this is what before Gen 7 came out. So keep that in mind, this is before Gen 7 came out. So unfortunately, we're not gonna be able to see the stats for that. I don't know if there is a post that does include all that. If there is, let me know. But this is Gen 6 and below, so we can't get the full proper look at this, unfortunately. Electric typing's coming in with a bunch of speed, which is really to be expected. A bunch of special attack, again, to be expected. And Zekrom having the highest right there. Again, this is from Gen 6 and below. To be expected, coming from Psychic. Mega Mewtwo's just absolutely dominating absolutely everything. Highest special attack, worst HP. Something we could have predicted quite easily. Ice typings. We got the Kyurems leading the way there. We got worst stat is speed, which is actually kind of interesting. We have like things like Weavile in this typing right here. Highest is special attack. Okay, that's also to be expected. I don't know. I kind of thought maybe ice or defense. No, defense is actually kind of bad. We have a high attack stat there. Dragon, I don't think there's anything that's to be said here. Dragon is probably gonna be the strongest typing. It has Mega Rayquaza. Its worst stat is speed. Its base, oh my god. The average base stat total is 541. Dragon is ridiculously powerful. Has really, really high attack. The average attack for Dragon typings being 105. Absolutely insane. We have Dark types coming here. Highest speed, my boy Darkrai, representing the Dark type. Very good. Has very, very good attack stat. The base stat total, or the base stat average, being 460. We have Fairy typings, which are okay. It actually has really good special defense, with the highest stat total being Mega Dancey. Nothing too enormously crazy going on there. Normal typings having really bad stats because of the fact that, you know, we have so many low stat normal types. It just makes sense. Highest total is Arceus. Again, that's to be expected. Highest stat total here for is, that's fighting type. Highest stat total for my fighting type is Mega Mewtwo X, to be expected. Has very good fighting, has a very good attack stat, but Dragon typing actually has more attack overall than the fighting type, which is kind of interesting. Mega Rayquaza just comes in and absolutely dominates this place. Actually doesn't really, I mean, it's in there, but it's not in there like swimwear, you know? Has really good speed in the flying typing, which makes sense. Poison, very weak typing, unfortunately. Poison is very weak typing, not much going on there. Ground, again, ground, to be expected, has high attack, high defense, not much going on for the rest of that. Rock, high attack, high defense, not much going on for the rest of that. Has 107 defense across the board, though, as an average. Pretty crazy. Bug, very, very, very weak typing. We have a lot of ties for the highest stat total, though. We have Genesect, Mega Scizor, Mega Heracross, and Mega Pinsir all tying right there. Ghost, not too great. Kind of there, but kind of not so much there, with Giratina leading the pack there. We have Metagross coming in for Steel typing. Very good defensively, very good offensively as well. See, the Steel typing 116 as an average for defense. That's crazy good. And then we have the overall. So highest HP, Blissey. Highest attack, Mega Mewtwo X. Highest defense is a tie right there, as you can see. Highest special attack, obviously Mega Mewtwo Y. Highest special defense is Shuckle. Highest speed is Deoxys Speed Form, which is to be expected. And highest base stat total overall goes to Mega Mewtwo X, Mega Mewtwo Y, and Mega Rayquaza, which I don't believe is beaten in Generation 7 anyway. So let's see. The highest base stat total overall is 541, which absolutely blows every typing out of the water there. It looks like the lowest, we got 397 there, we got 379. I don't think I see anything lower than 379. So the weakest typing is Bug, and the strongest typing is Dragon. Probably could have predicted that pretty easily. But that is that right there. That is that. Those are the statistics right there. Like I said, I'm sorry this doesn't include Generation 7. But it's whatever. And it has a little summary at the bottom here, which is kind of nice too. So if you enjoyed this kind of look at some Pokemon statistics, let me know in the comment section below. Maybe kind of do some more videos like this in the future, just discussion type things of the Pokemon series as a whole. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.